Welcome in. My name is Tacobowler. I run the YouTube channel Tacobowler Gaming, part of the League of Average Gaming. If you haven't checked out one of those two channels, check out the other one in the description down below. This is a timeline video going through my game offline as Corfu and into Greece, actually starting as the Ottomans. The goal for this campaign was to get the Corfu achievement, where as Corfu you have to make someone revoke 5 cores, and then the It's All Greek to Me achievement. Whereas Greece you have to own Zeta, which is somewhere over here. Right there. And then you have to own Rho, Theta, and Lamba, dead in Africa. An interesting achievement. We're going to go ahead and start off. Playing as the Ottomans to begin, I consolidated some power. Amongst the Ottomans, I would take a little bit of land over here, and then I take Corfu, and I feed them that. And I decide ultimately to make them really powerful, so I start feeding them more of the Balkans. And I will ultimately feed them everything except my capital in Constantinople. At that point, I start integrating them. And that takes a while. I think I took influence ideas to make it go a little bit faster. But that kind of takes a while, and all the time I am building buildings in Corfu to give them money and manpower. And developing provinces in Corfu when I had extra monarch power, and I'm not attacking anyone, I'm not doing anything like that, and then I will, kind of upset my allies as I leave. So at this point, about 1496-ish, I fully integrated Corfu. I will release Terrarum as a vassal to help occupy the relationship slots in the Ottomans, and then released Corfu and played as them. So now I am Corfu, and I am building up my army and building up my navy in this time, and trying to gain favors and opinion, mainly opinion, with nations that are the Ottomans' rivals, nations that the Ottomans hate or that hate the Ottomans, such as Austria, Poland, and the Mamluks. Ultimately, only the Mamluks will actually support my independence. And surprisingly, Karaman was loyal. I really expected that in this arrangement, that by virtue of strength of vassals alone, Karaman would not be loyal, but they were loyal. So at this point, we are free. I've taken up some land in Serbia. The Ottomans reintegrate Karaman. And Kandar here gains independence by rebels, and I would ally them, take Constantinople, and at roughly this point I take an opportunity. Naples gets into some serious trouble, and I attack them and go make them return their cores on these 5 provinces right here, and that got me the Corfu achievement. Immediately after that I will become Greece. So you'll see that happen, and then once I am Greece, then I start expanding very quickly. Now this Moldavia is independent at this moment, but they kind of run into some hard times. They're jumped by Hungary and Crimea. You can see Crimea take this province here. About that point, I attack them and make them my march, and then I'll feed them back this province in Crimea. And I'm just trying to attack. I will call the Mamluks in. The Mamluks call me in. I'm trying to attack. I betray Kandar about this time. You see I've taken Moldavia. And I'm just trying to grow as quickly as I can, so that I can get around the Mamluks and get over to head in this direction to try and get the provinces that I need and have as much power as I can, because the Timurids are getting pretty big. Alright, so right now I have taken over Imerti. You can see I've taken a lot from Crimea as well, but I've taken over Imerti. I did not take this province because the Mamluks were involved in that war, and the Mamluks actually occupied that province before I could get to it, and they didn't give it back. So because of that, I just released Imerti, and then I couldn't core anything down here. So I'd taken all this land from QQ, but I can't do anything with it. So I have to give it to Imerti, and then I released Iraq as well down here. I would always keep, you can see as I grow down here, I'll release a bunch of vassals, but I'll always keep that one province, bordering as many rival nations as I can, because I did have religious ideas. Corfu was released with religious ideas, and so I, have that one province so that I have a Deus Vault against my neighbors. And that wasn't too much overextension to be carrying at any one time. So you see Iraq is done. We kind of eat up the rest of that. And then we will have Fars here. There is Fars. And I have this one province. Now, something that happens here, you'll notice that Moldavia now has this. This is a center of trade in the Crimea node. So I will be giving a bunch of land to Moldavia that is just as centers of trade in the Crimea node, so that they can have that trade power, and I can get a little bit more money that way, squeeze a little bit more money out of the game. Now I have all these, but I can only work on the ones that are right next to Emirati. So until I integrate Emirati, there's only so fast I can go down here. But what ultimately will happen here is I will declare on the Timurids for a reconquest war for Fars's reconquest. They will be allied to Baluchistan. And what I did was I vassalized Baluchistan during the war. And then in the peace deal, I was able to give all of Baluchistan's cores back at the reduced price, as well as all of Fars, which was a very big move, and really the biggest move of the campaign, the biggest moment of the campaign. So now we have Greek stuff here. I will eventually seize this land seize Trebizond from Moldavia, just to have it. Now that I have integrated Fars, I now have coasts down here. I can finally colonize down. I take at that point, here we have Thada fall under my control. I just need to integrate Baluchistan to have that one. So at that point, I colonize. I take this one from someone, I think Portugal. Take this land from Kilwa in one war, start these two colonies, and when one of them is done, we will finally colonize Lamba, integrate Baluchistan, and that's it. And it happens in 1653. There we go. So, pretty standard campaign, pretty easy. I would feed Moldavia a little bit more land over here as Hungary fell apart. But for the most part, this was pretty standard. Just went for the achievements as quickly as I could. Now, real quick, we'll go over the ideas that I did take. First off, I kept the Corfu ideas instead of farming Greece, because they're really, really good. Morale of armies, national taxes, trade efficiency, naval force limit, trade power, things like that. You can see over here galleys, which I didn't ultimately take advantage of, and a merchant. But religious ideas was done for me. Defensive ideas was picked when I became Corfu, although they had not done any of this stuff. I went ahead and kept it up to double down on the morale of armies. Then I took diplomatic, and then I think I took a different one and switched it out when I needed to colonize. If not, I just took exploration and then expansion just for the colonies and the settlers and things like that. But that is the game. Very interesting game, very fun game. The Ottomans were not a pushover, even that broken up. But once I was free, it became a pretty standard Balkan game, and was pretty fun. I would recommend this as a way to get the Greek achievement. I would recommend this as a way to get the It's All Greek to Me achievement. I would not recommend this as a way to get Corfu. If you want to know how to get Corfu, I think that the way that the League of Average Gaming did it on his channel, you can look through his channels, his former videos, and just start as Venice, release and play as Corfu immediately, and do it that way as if Corfu was still a tag at the beginning of the game. But if you want to continue on and get the It's All Greek to Me achievement, this is a good way to do that, because you wind up getting basically given. You give yourself all that power in the Crimea, or in away from the Ottomans. So this is a fun game. Check out the other channel, whichever you're viewing this on. Check out the other channel, the League of Average Gaming or Tacobowler Gaming. I have been Tacobowler, and I'll see you next time.